Izzy Dakota Jones here with the Otter Doing podcast for 2024. We'll be talking to Patty M. She's a great blues guitar player and rock and roll guitar player. You know, she spends half her time up here in Vancouver and half her time down in Phoenix, Arizona. She's down in Phoenix right now. We'll be talking to her about the music scene in Phoenix, Arizona, her songwriting and the bands she plays in and all that. So we'll be talking to Patty in about, 5 minutes here. So hang in there. This is Izzy Dakota Jones with the Outer Doing podcast for 2024. And we'll be talking to Patty M.
Hello.
Hey, Patty, how are you?
Hey, good, Joe. How are you?
Pretty good. You want to do this interview? Let's have some fun.
Sure. No problem.
Okay. Let's pick up where we sort of left off last day when we were just chatting. Let's talk about like when you saw Jimi Hendrix again. I mean, I know Jimi Hendrix is one of your favorite guitar players. Well, you were at that show back in when we were young, and then did you actually where were you sitting in that show? That's one thing I want to know for starters. How close were you to Jimi Hendrix?
I was extremely close. I was on the floor.
Oh, cool.
And probably about 20 feet from him. So it was, because back then, I mean, you just bought a ticket and then you sat anywhere you wanted, really.
Yeah, it's festival seating, yeah.
Yeah, festival seating on the floor. And then I think, you had a ticket for, a specific seat if you were in the stands. But no, I went to the floor. And that was in 1968.
Wow.
September 7th at the Coliseum. So
wow,
was,
yeah.
Four bands that night. So Ira Parent, Soft Machine, Vanilla Fudge, and of course Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, and Soft Machine, they were a good band.
Night.
Yeah.
They
were. I mean, I remember seeing them on a compilation, disc, and I listened to a couple of their songs. I really liked them. They were good.
Kind of jazzy, rocky, kind of, a little progressive. They were really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, of course, Vanilla Fudge, what can you say about Vanilla Fudge, but wow.
Amazing. They were amazing.
Yeah.
Just rocked the room, too. And then, of course,
So,
Hendrix came on.
So how long did Hendrix play that night?
It was under an hour.
Yeah.
And I went and looked up the set list after we talked because I thought, I think he did Voodoo Child to open.
Wow.
And so I looked it up, and he opened with Voodoo Child and then went into Hey Joe. And then he did Are You Experienced?
Wow.
And he ended up Come On. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah.
The other one that was on, that went up on a lot of different albums.
Yeah.
Little Wing, Lady, Red Fire, Spanish Council Magic, ended with Purple Haze. That I do remember clearly.
Wow.
Because everybody's waiting for Purple Haze, right?
Yeah. Did he do an encore?
No, he had cold. He was not well, but you never would have really known the sweat through it,
Yeah.
For him taking the American flag point off his mouth and wiping it off his brow and putting it back because he wasn't 100%.
Yeah. Wow. And another person you really like a lot is Jeff Beck. I remember that too. Have you seen Jeff Beck live? I only saw Jeff Beck once.
I've seen him times.
Okay.
Yeah. I even flew to Montreal, saw two shows, the Montreal Jazz Festival, both shows that he did there. And I saw him in Vancouver, in Portland, in seen him a number of places. Man, he's right up there.
Yeah.
Because he was really unique in his whole approach to guitar. So for when I look at Jeff Beck, I look at all the tone and the style and the gentleness of his playing, as well as some of the ferocity, whereas Hendrix was really power and heavy duty, and then the chording and the rhythmic side of Hendrix. So you kind of got different things out of different artists,
Yeah. That's interesting. And I know you play a lot of blues. So what are some of your blues? I've never asked you this question. What are some of your blues guitar heroes that you get influence from?
the style to be the Three Kings,
Okay,
and
yeah,
Albert Collins.
yeah,
Albert Collins is probably right up there with my favorites. I think he was just so cool in his whole approach to everything. But
yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
Albert King.
I saw him a couple of times too. I saw Albert King about three or four. Not Albert King. I mean, Albert Collins about three or four times.
I know you were so lucky. I never did get to see him live, and sort of I discovered him later,
Yeah,
because once Zeppelin came on the scene, and then I started looking at who was writing their songs. It was like, wait a minute, Muddy Waters. And you started going back to these are old blues tunes, and you start listening to some of the
yes,
originals when you can get them, and then all of a sudden you start discovering all these other guys out there that had all this wealth of material that everybody was taking from.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So it
Interesting,
was kind
right?
of a learning curve to go through to kind of I got through it through rock. I think the first blues album that I considered having was Super Session with Mike Bloomfield, and
Mm,
right, that was kind of my go-to blues album
yeah,
until
yeah,
I sort of discovered until the door opened up for all these other folks, and
yes,
then I was like, wow. And Alvin Lee was another big hero of mine.
yes.
Man, that guy was phenomenal, underrated.
I think that whole band
Such a,
was just amazing. Everybody in that band,
oh, true,
that
very
band was
true.
great. It was a good band, like really, especially like when we were talking about they played that Undead album, right? Like that album,
Oh,
like that's a super jazzy blues thing fusion.
killer. Yeah,
It really,
yeah.
I mean, that's where they, you hear "I'm Going Home" for the first time. Not at Woodstock, is actually on that one, right?
No, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
So that whole crew sort of drove my guitar playing as to how I was going to approach it, to get more mature with it.
Right, 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 right. So, talking about that too. I mean, yeah. I mean, you're down in Phoenix, Arizona, around there, right
Yeah.
now. So you're doing a lot of gigging. Like what kind of places are you playing down there? I know there's like you're saying there's a lot of activity for live music down there, right?
Well, it's a real tourist town, and a lot of boomers come here for the weather, for the winter. Snowbirds, right?
Yes, yes,
So you end up with a lot of restaurants, and a lot of the restaurants have either a bar attached to them or they're a bar restaurant. And
interesting.
with a stage, and lights and sound and everything, and they're everywhere. I mean, you drive a few blocks, there's another one. So there's just so many places to play here, and there's small places. You'd walk in and you go, wow, this is like only seats, 60 people, and then a band shows up, maybe three-piece, and they'll be playing in the corner, and yet people are hearing them on. So it's like live music is huge down here.
Right. So there's lot of opportunity to play and everything. Because like you said, because you got a lot of the baby boomers who that's what they grew up with, right?
That's right. And then that attracts the young musicians who are up and coming, because there's so many mature musicians here too that they're learning from them. The guys who
Yeah.
just won the international blues competition down here, they're called the Black Hole, and I think they're all under 30.
Wow.
And they're off to Memphis to compete in the international blues competition. And so you see guys like that up and coming. So it's not just all old folks. It's all the young are in here as well, and
Yeah.
of course they start to bring along their audience as well. So you look around the room and it's a mixed bag of people. Young,
Yeah,
old.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because there is there's quite a appeal right now for like more nostalgia type music when it's played live, more rootsy and more basic. Well, I mean, even whether it's blues or even rock and roll. I mean, rock and roll is not young anymore either, right? So it's kind of
Oh no.
it's already been the baby of the blues, and it's a grandpa itself or grandma itself.
It's so true. Yeah.
So that's interesting. I mean, beside but like we keep laughing about the weather down there compared to the weather here is like this time of year is like what's it down there today on the temperature?
35 degrees
Oh my,
Celsius.
oh
Yeah.
God,
Yeah. So it's cooled off a little bit.
yeah, compared to here.
It was 37 the other day, so
It's not raining here, but we've got nothing but gray sky.
yeah. And you're talking about places. So the other thing is you got all these, restaurants and bars, and which is huge opportunity for many bands. And then you've got, upper places like Celebrity Theater. You've got the Rhythm Room. They've got many different venues, as well as the casinos. There's a lot of casinos down here that also bring in bands. Like I went and saw Joe Satriani at a casino.
Ooh.
Now, they didn't have it in the casino ballroom. They put it in their huge ballroom facility that they run for corporate events.
Right,
I saw Steve Morse there as well. So,
wow.
They bring in some pretty big headliners even into the casinos, as well as some of the tribute bands, the AC/DC tribute, Led Zeppelin tribute, those sorts of things.
Yeah.
So the music down here is just everywhere. I mean, you just.
Yeah.
So I love it.
I mean that it's even that way just across the border too. I mean, just up here in Vancouver, it's the same thing. Just going over to Washington State. Washington State has music everywhere.
Yeah.
It's the same. They just seem to gravitate towards live music more than I don't know. Well, I guess it just some cities it's probably like that in the States, and some it's probably like that too. I don't know what Toronto's like in Canada, but I know we know what Vancouver is like. It's kind of struggling, right?
Yeah. And Phoenix is kind of one of those drop-in cities on the way to somewhere, as well for the bands, for the bigger acts,
Yes.
They may be going over to LA to play, or they may be going from LA over to the East Coast, or to Memphis, or to Houston or Austin. So that's another thing is we're kind of in there's a little hub here of drop off play and go to the next place. So it becomes a tour spot too on the tours.
Right on. So beside all that too, we were talking about the tech side of things. You've been doing your own little thing on maintaining guitars for people and stuff. What got you into all that?
Well, that all started with me and my guitars, and me wanting them set up a certain way, and then I'd take the guitar to someone and I'd say I want really low action, I want this, I want that, and then I'd get it back and I'd be satisfied maybe with some parts of it, but maybe the new pickups didn't turn out to be what I wanted.
Yeah.
And then after a while you sort of go, well, why don't I just have a go at it, like learn this and have a go at it so I can get it the way I want it. And so you go down that path, and next thing you got a room full of tools, and you're setting up all your guitars, because I was buying and selling guitars, and again trying to find the right guitar, like amps. Everything is keep trying something to get something that fits your head and sounds like it's going to sound like in your head.
Right.
Coming out. So you end up going through a lot of guitars, a lot of amplifiers. And then the setup becomes critical. So I ended up doing all my own setups on all my guitars, swapping out pickups, swapping out tuners. And, then it just grows from there, right? Oh, hey, I can do a single coil tap on this pickup. Let's try that out, And at one point I, started to try to install my own frets and all sorts of stuff. And I whoa, this is taking me away from playing. So I don't like to go into the deep end anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, there's guys who spend a lifetime doing that. So if I need to, fret work, or I've got a warped neck, like I just had a guitar down here that had a warped neck, and I took it up to Billy up in north of Phoenix here, and the guy's just killer. He's awesome at B&D. And he's got a neck heater that he got from Germany. I mean, I don't have a neck heater. So, took it to him. He straightened it all out. And then I said, hey, well, do a setup for me on it. Might as well. And then his setup is great, too. So he sets it up like I would set my own up. And I'm going, this is rocking. So, so it all started with me wanting my guitars to play the way I wanted them, with super low action. I mean, if the strings are almost touching the frets, I'm happy. And I have gone from 10s down to 9s to 8s. These are the string gauges. Yeah. And now I'm at 7s. And if they would sell me spider webs, I'd put those on it. But, but one thing I did find is that Ernie Ball now has put out a set that has a 6 on them, so it's like, ooh, yeah, I like it. And then the other thing is you can drop it down a notch and detune it down one step.
Right.
And so you can even get them slinkier. So that's pretty
Right
funny.
on. That's so cool.
But then you got to get the rest of the band to drop down as well. So I don't bother doing that. But, that's good for recording.
Good for recording, exactly. So let's talk about also your other band here you have in Vancouver. So you have a band here called Highway 7, am I right? That's right?
That's right. Highway 7, yeah.
Yeah, and so what's involved in Highway 7? What kind of style of music? Where do how what are you trying to bring across and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so me and my sister, she's a bass player. We were talking about we got to put something together that has music that we really want to play.
Right.
Or, just fits our style of playing. So, were we going to write a whole pile of tunes? We about that, but then we went, why don't we just start looking for tunes that maybe are not played as much? And sort of re-engineer them for a more harder-edged blues rock thing. So, she spent a lot of time tracking down songs, and I did too. And then we came up with that concept. And then I started advertising on Craigslist to find some people, that we could play with. And we found another guitar player and a drummer, and we started off with them. And of course, musicians come and go. It's like I hadn't played in a band for a little while at that point. And then I was, remembering, oh, yeah, okay, people have lives. They have jobs. They've got families.
Yeah.
They've got all these other things.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to focus on the music. So we went through, I think we're on version 3 now of Highway 7. I'm the only original member. Siobhan actually ended up getting hand surgeries and stuff. So she can play again, but she's not really for a full-time thing anymore. So, so I'm still the original founding member and still sort of trying to take it down a certain path. And but as people join, they bring their ideas and stuff. So you got to be open to trying different things. So we've been doing some original material, which is kind of cool. And so we're still in growth mode with this latest version, which is about a year old now.
Good.
And we're having fun.
Yeah, that's good. That's great. So you've got and the cool thing with you is you've got a lot of outlets, right? I mean, you're up here with Highway 7. You got you play with us and our 2 bands, right? And then you got your stuff down there too. You're playing with a lot of different people down there too.
Oh, a ton of people down here. And then at Madison Blues in Vancouver as well, I sit in with them as a special guest. And I also play with them. They were sort of re-engineering with the new drummer right now as well. So it's like, but that's, my whole thing was I want to go out of this world playing guitar. So, I just want to play as much as I can, and record and write and really focus everything around music. I mean, that's my life. That's where it's at.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, like we were saying, you've been very busy in a lot. When you're down there, there's a lot of gigs, a lot going on, right? So you're in a good place, a great Mecca place, right? There's so much going on there too, right?
And I'm learning a lot of songs that I didn't learn, earlier on in life she was a lot of more traditional blues bands down here. So it's they'll throw a set list in front of me or more what happens is I end up sitting in and learning them on the fly, which is really for the head because you really got to think fast and you got to figure out what everybody's doing in the band and then fit in as quick as you can live while you're playing for people. So it's been awesome because it really ups your game.
Yeah, it does, and especially when you're playing, and especially when you're doing that, and then you're also playing better venues because you have to come up for the venues, right? That's the thing, right?
Oh, big time! Yeah, next Friday I'm at the Rhythm Room, which is it's the blues place really in Phoenix to play at for
Good.
an intimate club setting. I mean, everybody's played there. Savoy Browns played there. Jimmy Bonds played there.
Yeah.
Robin Ford's played there. I mean, so it's got a big attraction for artists to play at that place.
Yeah.
And so I get to go on that stage next Friday, second time on it, and it's like, wow, this is great.
Yes.
Exciting.
Yeah. It's great because that way you get you get to, how can I put it, you get to have fun, but at the same time you have to be on top of your game, right? It's like anything, you gotta be, because there's, like you say, there's all these people that played there, right? That
Oh yeah.
we noticed that when we played. I said that once when we played in the Twitch over at especially the last time we played there at the Whiskey in Los Angeles. It was the same sort of thing,
Oh.
You just say, I reminded a few people in the band. I just says, well, just remember who sat in this dressing room, right? And they're going like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. I says like Jimi Hendrix sat in here, Janis Joplin sat in here, Jim Morrison
The
sat in here.
Doors. Yeah.
I says
Oh,
everybody.
man.
I says everybody. Oh, I says almost everybody who's anybody's played here. And I said, the odd exception of a big artist that hasn't played here, but I'm sure they've all been in this room. So at some point, right?
Oh yeah. Oh no, that's killer. That's awesome. So that feeling. It's like
Yeah.
you really get up for it. It's exciting. It's
You have to bring your A game and
big time. Triple A.
yeah, triple A, yeah. So that'll be fun next Friday. So then how many more gigs do you got before you come back this way?
I'm playing every week down here, so it's 2-3 times a week. So, and then I won't be back until November 30th. So I don't know what that quantity turns out to be.
Yeah. Right on. That's so cool. That's good. Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's great.
Love it.
It's great chatting to you. I mean, we always talk anyways, but because we got things to get done. But
You betcha. And I can't wait. When I get back, we're going to have more fun.
yes, we are. We're gonna get more things done, and and then your band Highway 7's playing with us at the Princeton coming up too. That'll be fun.
That's exciting. Yeah, I know. They're all genned up for it too. They're excited. So we'll have some fun. That'll be cool.
Yeah. You get to do double duty.
Yeah. Set up my amp and leave it so I can play in the next set.
That'll be a good night.
That'll be fun.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to all that too, Patty. And we'll keep rocking and keep going, and it's great talking to you. And we'll talk to you really soon. And it's been a pleasure talking to you and finding out what's going on down there, and what how you progressed over the years in your playing and stuff. And before that, you go to who are some of the people up here that you played with over the years too, up here in Vancouver?
Well, I was out of Calgary, so
Okay.
I moved to Calgary, and then of course I was married for a while, so that kind of stopped my music career. But up in Calgary, I was playing with a band called Stargazer, and another one called Circloid Kit, another one called Triad. They never went anywhere big, but we did a lot of the the 3 and 5 nighters up there.
Yes.
So it was fun. About 2.5 years solid of playing everywhere we could, from Okotoks to Lethbridge to Winter Creek to Olds to Red Deer to you name it. All over the place. So
Wow.
it was a lot of fun. Those were good growth days of getting your chops in.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But I could never cut through. I would never cut through into anything that got bigger. So I don't know.
What's interesting is
I'm just having fun.
yeah. Well, yes, and then what's good about that, like when I was talking recently to Darby Mills about back then, is that you could play 3 to 5 times a week, and that really got your chops up too. Like it was a great place for you to get really strong. And who else I talked to once? I talked to Mark Lafromme last year, and Mark was saying,
Oh yeah.
it was really good to do all that. And he says I don't understand nowadays how some bands they don't play that much, and so it's hard. And then people complain that band's not so tight. Well, the reason why the band's not so tight is they don't get to play as much.
Exactly. And that's the cool thing about down here is they're playing 3-4 nights, which is when you're doing that level of playing, I mean, the songs become second nature, and then you're getting creative on stage to juice them up for the band and for yourself, and to have fun, and
Yeah.
you're extending solos, and you're. I think we did Susie Q. Was it last? The week before last, because the drummer said, "I want to sing Susie Q," and we looked at everybody, and no one knew the song,
Right.
and we just went, we can fake it. And we faked it. And we pulled it off great. Now we've been doing it like a whole bunch of times since then.
Wow. Wow.
So
See, yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
See, there you go. There you go.
but
Right.
everybody was, in tune enough to go, yeah, I know the song.
Yeah.
We can play this, And
Yeah.
I ran through the riff at the beginning, and then the bass player said, well, and then it goes to this. Yeah, okay, let's do it. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, then it becomes more spontaneous and it becomes more. It has more feel to it because you gotta listen and feel it out and be there too, right? Yeah.
And who else loved it was the audience, because they knew we were learning it on the fly, and then pulled it off, and they were all like going nuts at the end.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's great.
So it was fun.
Yeah, there you go. Right. I mean, it's all about playing music and enjoying yourself. That's all. That's all that counts. And that's why I want to interview for this show with you, because it's called The Art of Doing. Right. So it's all in all in the art, and it's all how you do it. Right. At the end of the day.
Right on.
Yeah. Okay, Patty. I will let you go, and I'll be chatting to you, I'm sure, pretty quick. And you can watch us again. We're gonna stream with the Twitch on the 30th for Halloween. So.
All right.
Yeah. You come and check. You can
Well, I
watch
liked
that.
the last one. The last stream was great too. So
Yeah,
I'm
it was.
looking
It
forward
did
to
all
it.
right. We got about so far like 4.5, something like that. People, it's going up. We're well, off the topic here, but yeah. Paul's found a whole bunch of new sites I found, and we have been adding to them, right, and stuff. So,
Right
it takes
on.
time. It takes time to build all this up, which that is what we're doing, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, big time.
Yeah, and we're gonna, push harder. So that's. I think we got a good band. We got a good nucleus, right? So it's important.
Big time.
It's
Oh yeah.
good.
No, it's
And
good.
Paul's gonna pick up some singing now that Mark's gone. When
All
you
right.
come back, yeah, he's gonna say when Patty comes back, he says I'll do some backgrounds, right?
Cool.
Yeah,
Very good.
yeah. So it's good.
Oh, that's excellent.
I know. It'll just keep things rocking. Well, yeah, I enjoy the nice warm weather. I'm jealous.
I try not to post too many pictures of it.
I still like that comment Mark made once. How do you mow your lawn when you're away? Yeah, there is. She's in the desert. Don't you understand that part?
Yeah. On.
All right, Patty, I'll let you go, and I'll talk to you probably towards the week, middle end of the week there, before you play the rhythm room.
Yes. Okay. Sounds good, Joe.
Okay, Patty, take care.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye
Thank you.
now.
Bye.
Okay, that was Patty M we were talking to. Yeah, that was great. Number 2, show number 2. Patty is down in Phoenix, Arizona, playing the rhythm room next week. It's a big room down there. Check her out playing down there if you're down that way or around that way. Well, you won't be getting this one. She'll be already back here by the time this is aired or on our way back down, and it's great talking to her. She's a great guitar player, really good songwriter. She knows what she's doing. And yeah, I can't say more than that. So peace out, everybody. I'll be talking to you. This is number 2. We're going to do number 3 pretty soon. I think next week I'm doing number 3, and I think my special guest will be Rob Blackburn. And Rob is a great keyboard player and singer, and plays a little guitar too. He's an all-around type great musician, and he's also a booking agent. And so he's going to have some stories to talk about music-wise, creatively, and also talk about what's going on in the music industry. So I'll be talking to Rob probably about a week here. Okay? Peace out, everybody. That was Patty M. Yeah. And that was a great conversation we had with Patty. And, you can check Patty out when she comes back up to Vancouver sometimes, and she's playing with her 3 bands. And check her out in Saints and Sinners with us and the Twitch and Highway 7. So check Patty out and her band. And she's a great guitar player, great person. So check Patty out. We'll be talking to you soon. Izzy Dakota Jones with the Art of Doing Podcast 2024.